I'm just going to do like I always do, go check on X, make sure people can see me over there. And hear me, since that's where most of the viewers come from. See me over there. It looks like that worked. On kind of a sideways Wednesday, though, looks like we just had a drop a minute ago, which we'll go and investigate it right here. Here, I like to drop a little GM in the chat anyway here for good morning, like I always do. Make sure it's coming through on my side. All righty. Yeah. Seeing this is the we look at the hourly here. We just had a big drop here last hour on Bitcoin. Let's go. I ran to do a little TikTok update. Let's look into here, see exactly where we're at here. Get this party started. Yesterday was a brutal day in the market, as we talked about, and NASDAQ ended up like down 2.25 for the day. Yeah, right now, oh, interesting because we just saw that drop in Bitcoin. We'll go look at, but NASDAQ opened at up 0.6, the Dow up 0.1, and the S&P up 0.41. This is a good article right here. This kind of says it all. Big Tech's $2.7 trillion AI bill is finally coming due. Talks about, people are starting to take a look and say, okay, there's so much spending between the Mag 7 and then they're adding in Oracle, Broadcom. These companies always had such a buffer of cash and profit, and now they're like maxing everything out, raising money to do this AI build out. So, hey, Scott, GM, happy wacky Wednesday. About to look at crypto. I saw a big dip. I expected when I look back to futures, maybe there was some dip, but no. So might be crypto only. So we'll take a look at that in a minute. But NASDAQ opened up pretty good, up 0.5 point right now. But anyway, looking at this article on Yahoo's page about the $2.7 trillion AI bill. So everyone's just so used to these companies running at such high profits and having so much cash. Now they're leading the AI buildup, and they're raising billions. And people are starting to take a look at it and question it, as always does, right? I mean, obviously we see the advantages of AI, but you still got to look at profitability and things like that. Also, I was thinking there's a lot of obstacles, to become on all sides, right? Obviously, supply chain bottlenecks, things like that, chips and everything. But also there's going to be regulatory headwinds. I was on doing my hike yesterday. Took a little different, 3 or 4 different hikes I usually do on a pretty regular, most every night. So on this one hike, right on the golf course there, this old gentleman lives there. I talked to him quite a bit. And we were talking to him right as it was kind of starting to get dark, the end of our hike last night. He comes from the nuclear energy, and just happens in that general area we could see some big windmills too, which are very few and far between where I live. But anyway, we were talking about it in the nuclear, and he comes from the nuclear energy thing and why he was kind of opposed to a proposed mini nuclear plant they've got here, and all the reasons he thought he didn't like it. And I just realized even data centers, people are fighting data centers. Obviously, the nuclear power, all these things are going to get resistance. No one wants that stuff by them, right? So anyway, kind of why I like Bitcoin. There's still Bitcoin. We've been through a lot of these battles and stuff, and we continue to, but I'm just saying, I haven't, I like AI. I can certainly see why it's garnering a lot of the attention and a lot of the money, but I'll tell you, I'm not, I'm still very comfortable in Bitcoin, and you're going to have ups and downs, ebbs and flows. The capital, flows, I mean, inflows, outflows. We talked about that. We just experienced it real time with SpaceX, basically, with that, by the way, let's take a look and see how that's doing. I haven't checked it today. SpaceX 153, 152.91, STRC 85.65. So the pressure continues on Sailor. But anyway, let's go look at Bitcoin because I saw a big drop. I was expecting maybe it had something to do with the NASDAQ, but it didn't. This is the hourly chart. So we're down 0.5 on the day. Let's look at the daily chart first. See, we just had that massive drop while I was doing my TikTok video, grabbing my morning drink here. So that's interesting. I don't know if there's some crypto related news that did that or it's just market manipulation, but quite interesting that we basically had this 1.2% drop in the last 30 minutes. And that really, if you really see it on the daily, look at that massive drop just straight down. So we'll have to see what the news is. Maybe won't see it. If someone sees it, type in the comments, but not a whole lot of people on the lives today. I get it, man. It's especially after yesterday. Sometimes you just want to take a breather. But anyway, Bitcoin 61,884, down 0.6 for the day, 1.4% for the hour. Ethereum had the exact same drop, 1657, even for the day, down 1% in the hour. XRP was already a little negative on the day, $1.08. Man, that's getting cheap. 1.6 drop for the day, 0.7 for the hour. Solana 69.13, even for the day. Drop. So yeah, I don't know exactly what caused that drop. Happened in the last few minutes. But nonetheless, it starts to rebound here a little. Looking back at Bitcoin, let's look at the hourly, see if it's starting to. Not really. Wow. Yeah, quite a drop, but it's definitely crypto centric. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah, we'll still look. A lot of news today. A lot of news. Fear and greed at 17. That kind of doesn't surprise me, to be honest with you. To me, that kind of feels like where it should be with all the uncertainty and certainly the price action yesterday. So we are in. I mean, we've been here down in fear and extreme fear for like months and months, 6 months, and that's just part of the bottoming process. Doesn't change the long-term trajectory. Illinois, we talked about that ridiculous law that they wanted to tax you 0.2% for moving it from one wallet to another, which is like, when we joked about it, it'd be like taking your money out of your wallet, put it in your front pocket, and they want to charge you 0.2%. I mean, absolutely ridiculous. I don't even think it's legal, but they've already introduced a bill to repeal it. So, yeah, absolute dumbest thing I've seen, I think, in 15 years. BlackRock, the largest asset manager in the world. They've got 14 trillion under management. They're recommending 1% to 2% portfolio allocation in Bitcoin. This is how it starts. It's going to take time even to have that 1 or 2% because not everyone gets it. Then it's going to take time for them, a couple of these companies only came on board in 2026. And they've got to train their people and all this. And now's not a good time with the volatility and going down. People are scared. So it's going to take some time. But then what'll happen is then it'll go to 4%. I think we saw Bank of America already came out with a 4% recommendation. And then we've seen like Fidelity, Vanguard, a couple of these come out for their higher risk portfolios up to 8.8%. And some money managers that I know and a couple of high profile hedge fund managers and stuff that I know that manage billions of dollars in money for high net worth individuals, some of them are up to 15. So that's how it happens. This is the process. And we're early. So we buy now, they're buying our bags and holding our bags. So the good news still moves forward, right? Even though maybe the short-term market's horrific. We saw this. I saw you, Scott. on the Heine Morning Show, which the Heine community, great community. They run a show. Scott here, Heineken Scott is his handle on X, runs that show at 6:30 to about 7:30, quarter to 8 every morning. So great community to be involved in. And Scott also often helps me either as a speaker or even usually recently a co-host on my GM Bitcoin morning show coming up here at the top of the hour. But anyway, I saw Scott talk about this, and I knew it was trouble when they put these garbage cans out. I knew it was going to be trouble, but you guys probably all saw the lady of this, or the video of this heavyset lady. She dumped out all the garbage and walked off with it. Thought it was kind of funny. Well, unfortunately for her, it looks like she had a $400,000 a year executive, kind of a DEA hire at JP Morgan and Chase, and she got fired. So kind of funny, but kind of not funny either. But it would have been funny to make the video, then go put it back and pick the trash back up and put it in New York, man. But anyway, this went viral and not good for her. So adios. Solana, tokenized stocks on Solana hit an all-time high volume this 24 hours, 690 million. So we talk about RWA, we talk about tokenization. Listen, I'm seeing more and more people get bullish on Solana. I mean, I've been bullish on Solana for years, but really bullish over Ethereum for the last couple of years. I was a big Ethereum bull, invested heavily in the Ethereum and even the ENS name service and stuff, millions of dollars. And then I've kind of switched that all over to Solana. Not that I don't think Ethereum will do better. And I've even become a little more bullish on Ethereum recently as the price goes down, but Solana's doing great. It's kind of made for this stuff. Also, they've got that Alpenglow upgrade happening this year, which will take finality from a few seconds to like 155 milliseconds. So basically everything will finalize faster than you can blink your eyes. So, that's, I see more and more people being bullish on Solana. Crazy price. I want to stack even more Solana than I have, but this is just an example of why. And we're seeing these examples on other chains as well. And also even on Ethereum, but yeah, tokenized stocks, 690 billion in 24 hours. That's awesome. Sailor typed out, digital credit is income for investors who believe in STRC. They're going through it. I'll show you some numbers, but he knew this. He saw this coming. He's no dummy. They're set up so they can't get a margin call. But man, their STRC and their MSTR is getting absolutely hammered. Japanese put the yen SBI. We mentioned this yesterday. They did launch that today. And every other yen stable coin. This is our guy Kyle Chasse. Was saying every other stable coin there's ever been had a hard cap on it. This JPYSC, the new one by SBI, no hard cap. So this will be good. This will be good for them. Be good for crypto and be good for them to help compete a little bit against. You're going to be able to arbitrage currency like Forex right on the blockchain, right? So pretty cool. So if you're feeling like you want some diversity, you want to hold different cash and diversify out, you'll be able to do that all on chain, which is pretty cool. Hey, Mr. Heine, humpity hump day. Yeah, it's interesting. Man, it's interesting. I don't quite get it. Traditional markets looking good, and something may have happened in the 15 minutes that I took to get a drink and do my little TikTok morning news update I do over there, a little 10-minute news recap. But yeah, we're up. It's a little, up a quarter, up about a third on the NASDAQ, pretty flat on the Dow, up about a third on the S&P. Yeah, Artie, we are halfway through the week for sure, man. Hump day. But yeah, crypto over on the other hand. And it's easier to see when you look at on the daily chart. Look at that drop. And I thought, it's definitely crypto related. It could be nothing more than just manipulation price adjustment. But look at that. We're down 2.1% in the hour. It's even more pronounced here. Doesn't seem to be bouncing either. So anyway, decent news for the traditional market. And meanwhile, Bitcoin still bleeding. But that's sometimes we're getting used to it at this point. Yeah, Trump's mad. He's like, the big oil companies are not dropping their price at the pump commensurate with the sharply lower price we're paying for oil. These prices are dropping like a rock. In other words, customers are being gouged. I've instructed the DOJ to immediately start looking into this. Gasoline prices better start going down a lot faster than what I'm seeing. President Donald J. Trump, DJT. It's true. I'm noticing it at the pump. We're sub $4 where I'm at. Paid $4.75 for diesel yesterday. Funny, when I bought my first diesel truck, this actual same truck, I've had it for a while, the actual diesel was actually cheaper than regular or the same price, and now it's more than Supreme. But I liked it because it used to be like, but now as diesel trucks and everything become more popular, yeah, it's actually more, 75 cents, 80 cents more than regular. But anyway, not good, but what do you do? Anyway, Donald Trump saying, yeah, get out there. And oil prices are dumping. If you look at the, oil's down. Judas, check that out. Oil is down $3.13, $4, 4.28%. So oil's dropping. I think that's a good thing. That's what Trump wants. You can criticize the whole process here, but bottom line is oil's dropping, and that's what's really been a drag on the thing. So even though we can't believe any of the news coming out of what's going on over there, it's a mess. You just look at the oil price coming down. I think that's good for all of us. I haven't looked at this, but Solana's based physical TGCG platform. I assume that's like trading cards of Pokemon and stuff. This collector script, they did 120 million in trading volume this week. You're also seeing a lot of this card stuff, opening packets and everything come online. Welcome, by the way, if you're listening live on YouTube or X, man. Appreciate you being here, even though it's kind of a midweek, right? Kind of trying to rebound from yesterday's drop, but crypto is not participating in that. But this is what we signed up for. So Michael Saylor's MSTR hit 103 yesterday, 23-month low, 81 down 81%, wiped out 153 billion from its market cap. So they're literally trading below the volume of their Bitcoin, right? And then they have $11.2 billion unrealized loss. They bought most of their Bitcoin at 74.75, and they're DCAing a little bit, but they're also fighting off all the FUD and the stuff on their dividend, their STRC. It's got to get back to $100 before they can use that money. So what we've seen the last 3 weeks is a little bit of buying and putting. We saw 100 million, 100 million, 300 million. So 400 million in the last 3 weeks going to build their cash reserve, which you're probably doing selling MSTR, which kind of a vicious cycle, but a lot of people think he shouldn't do anything. Just wait it out. So we'll see. Obviously the chance will get louder if we actually get a real drop from Bitcoin from here. But obviously he feels the pressure, but he's been there before and he's structured it. So to me, it's appealing to buy MSTR at these levels. Because listen, his theory is Bitcoin will average about 35% a year for the next 10 years. So if you look at, they're paying out 11.5% on STRC. The difference in that is going to go value to the MSTR shareholders, right? They're going to capture that difference in that value. And so that's why MSTR is getting to start be appealing. Both are appealing to me at these levels, to be honest with you. I do not think they're, going to zero, but they still feel the pressure. And their stock can suffer, and as people can panic and whatever. But yeah, very much tied. But also as they rebound, they could rebound. It is a bit of a leverage play on Bitcoin, so it can rebound faster than even Bitcoin. But if you believe in Bitcoin, then it's easier to believe in MSTR for sure. Coinbase says now that all its payment APIs are now agentic or enabled. So the same checkout flow for both humans and AI agents. So I'm not quite ready to start trusting that to AI agents, but in the future, it'll be very convenient, very efficient. Oh, this was cool. You guys know that fan of the Ankita here, the Ankita token. It man, I didn't realize it went all the way down to 36,000 yesterday market cap. We kind of discovered it on the show, the GM Bitcoin show, about a month ago at about 3,000 and went all the way up to 200,000. It's been around the 100, 120,000, 80,000. Now we're kind of getting this drop with the latest drop, but yeah, back to 54,000. So nice to those that bought the dips. But Green Man posted this news update, which I think is pretty cool. Talking about just doing his thing on his Green Man account, the news blast, which I think is pretty cool, talking about Kurt Starmer resigning, X impressions, and Elon, and then record high heat wave. So I think this is kind of a cool little meta for him to be doing. He does obviously the Ankita stuff. He does kind of a little segment he calls bad crypto advice now and that's on his Ankita, retweeted here, and now his Green Man, he's doing this, and I think he's working on a big Mad Max type bigger one as well. So yeah, Scott, that was a nice Ankita. I didn't quite realize I was right in the range where I was gonna maybe buy some more. I bought some more around 50,000 market cap. But yeah, nice little bounce, and I like to see this content. So this is kind of a cool thing. I think it's great. I think it's a fun little appealing thing to everybody, right? Who maybe doesn't understand, a little greater reach to everyone hitting the news. And this is something you can do easily and stuff every day. So I think this is cool. I like this. I'm excited about this little news thing. I like the bad crypto advice, but this little news blast is something you could do every day, just like we do this show every day. So yeah, shout out to Ankita, available on the Solana blockchain, and you just go into Dex Screener and type in Ankita, and $54,000 market cap. But anyway, kind of big fan of Green Man, what he's doing. We're trying to support his content, and I'm liking the news. I'm liking the news thing for sure here. Oh, geez, farther along than I thought. But anyway, cool. Shout out to Green Man. Binance said it's not leaving Europe after its EU crypto license bid in Greece. They've been blackballing them, right? Not letting them get their MiCA license, which is ridiculous. Just trying to hurt crypto, obviously. They do all the wrong moves over there when it comes to crypto. They're doing everything they can to impede its growth, and thereby it's leaving to go to other countries. That's why we're trying to get the Clarity Act passed. So I saw a couple of posts saying they postponed the discussion and vote till the 17th of July. So a lot of us were hoping it would get done by the before the 4th, which is tomorrow's break, or this week. They're going to take a break for a week, and they come back for a few weeks, and then they're gone for the rest. Yeah, we got to get that done. I think Trump's going to push it, but Binance said it's not leaving, so that's interesting. That'll be interesting. I don't know if they'll do it through lawsuits or whatever, but yeah, interesting. They're trying to play by the rules. Getting blackballed over there, but I mean, people can still use a VPN and whatnot. Well, WorldCoin, which is kind of a proof of humanity AI coin, is now on Robinhood. So I don't think people realize this is a great bridge between TradFi and crypto Web3. especially a lot of the kids. I know my 3 nephews that we kind of helped raise, they all use it. And I recently set my wife up a Robinhood account. Really easy, just an app, low fees or no fees, I don't know, but big thing over there. You get something on Robinhood, it's a good thing. I don't know how WorldCoin's doing because of that. Let's look back at Bitcoin too, see if it's doing any better. A little better if we look at the hourly, but man, that's a 2% drop in the last hour. That's kind of brutal. Let's see if we can find WorldCoin, see how, if it's had much of a, wow, Pepe down 5.1%. It's got to be getting still 1.1 billion. Wow, that's another brutal drop today. Only thing is, sometimes you can't just see this. What is it? WLD. What is the ticker? I think it is WLD. Let me just see if it's had any kind of a bump at all. Sometimes news on a day. Let's type in world. Sometimes bump on a day when WorldCoin, wow, still down brutally. So rank number 38, market cap 1.18 or 1.8 billion. Yeah, down 42% the year, 7% today, 19% for the week. So anyway, you may want to take a look at that on trading now on Robinhood. Trump signing the anti-CBDC bill today. They passed that yesterday into law, basically outlawed CBDCs till at least 2030. So, yeah, you don't want this to happen because what it does, it gives crazy power to the government, right? Like what happens in China. They don't like you. You're not tattling on your neighbor enough. They'll just cut you off. You can't spend any money. So Trump saying there's no tolls going to be charged in the straits. This is really a messy situation over there. But really, all we have to do is not worry about the rhetoric and the lies and the propaganda. Just look at crude oil, literally down 4.28% today at $70. I believe that's where it was before the war. And unfortunately, so oil's going good. The dollar's getting stronger and stuff too. That can cause a little bit of a drop in Bitcoin. But anyway, we're a little, I'll tell you, we're below the 200-week moving average. That's my kind of 200-week moving average is kind of my thing I look at for really the difference between a bear market and a really bad bear market. We've only dipped below it 5 times, and it's where almost everybody, even the worst bears, say you're in the buy zone. Historically, you make massive upside when you buy under the 200-week moving average. So even people who are bearish short term and think we're going lower, most of them would start to say the 200-week moving average has got to be around right now, I would say roughly around $62,000 Bitcoin. So we're below that. So if we close below that, then yeah, we could go lower. We're always ready for that. We could hit who knows, get into the 50s, mid 50s, low 50s, even some people saying 40s, but we'll see. But definitely I'm not real happy about this drop. We'll see if we can get above it, or if we close below it on the daily and then more, again, and then on the weekly, then we're probably going lower. That's just the reality. So pack your bags, get ready to buy more or get ready to hold. I would not say one thing I would not suggest is selling. I mean, some people want to try and sell and get back in. I don't do that. Yeah, Coachmaster, wild ride. Definitely a big drop here, but and we're well below the 200-week moving average. That's concerning. We'll leave with that. Feel free to join me. We'll be back tomorrow, obviously breaking it down, but feel free to join me over on the